A report on why the roof collapsed at Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital in Johannesburg has been released. It was caused by negligent overloading of rubble on the roof. Earlier this year, 5 people were injured when the roof of the hospital collapsed. In studio with me, we're joined by Gauteng's Infrastructure Development MEC, Jacob Mamabolo. MEC, thanks for your time this evening.
Good evening to you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. Let's just go through some of the details that you've released today. Now, this report shows that this roof collapse could have been avoided. Do you think that logic simply wasn't applied here?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me just confirm that on the 2nd of March of this year, we're faced with a roof collapse in Charlotte Maxeke. And right there, we announced that our preliminary observations were that the contractor that was contracted to do the waterproofing was negligent. And you'll recall that we took a decision to suspend them off-site as a precautionary measure because we couldn't entrust them with that site and put lives of people at risk. So the report that was released today, compiled for us by the law firm Adams & Adams, has vindicated exactly what we said. They were negligent by piling up on top of the roof and without conducting proper risk analysis and assessment, and the material became too heavy on a structure that was not properly supported, purely because that is an area where people pass through. It's a reception area. So they piled material on top, and that demonstrated beyond doubt that they were negligent because they should have first conducted risk assessment and check if what they were doing would have been properly supported. And they didn't also do enough signage to warn members of the public. So to that extent, the report has painted a picture that they were negligent and were putting the blame on their doorstep.
MEC, who is this contractor?
The contractor was appointed by our department through the supply chain process, and the company is called, the name of the supplier is Tanzanani Trading Entity. So they are also, using a name that sounds like a general dealer of some sort. So, but I'm very much pleased that we have acted promptly, swiftly, to make sure that members of the public that use our facilities were protected, and we didn't really, we managed to do our best to make sure that we protect members of the public.
So given the fact that they were already part of the pool that you would draw from, have they done other work for government, and what happens to the work that they've done to date?
Well, the legal opinion that we received was that given the conclusion and, of course, the investigations we have done and the facts at hand, was that it will be incorrect to take the particular facts of Charlotte Maxeke and expand them to the other areas where they're doing work. We've started to look at where else they are working and what they're doing to avoid a similar issue, but we still have the relationship with them because we can't just unilaterally and arbitrarily.
But to the extent that you've been able to cover this severe negligence on the part of hospital, a lot more damage could have been done in this instance. Do you think that as government continuing to be in business with a contractor that has already, in some respects left you with a lot of questions to answer to, jeopardize the safety of patients, is it in your best interest to still continue doing business with those people?
I think we have demonstrated beyond doubt our commitment to act swiftly, promptly, and without fear or favor. But whilst we have done that quite successfully, we also have to realize that you can't just say facts of one incident apply to the rest without a deliberate exercise. Currently, we have commissioned a process to check in other areas where they are working, are there things that should worry us, but it will be outside the law, it will be outside the principles that constitute the cornerstone of our democracy to simply say, because of this, then the rest shall follow. It can't work like that. We will have to investigate them and come to the determination that we are at risk at other areas. Let me also say, when we appointed Adams & Adams, even before this incident, the issue that we're looking at were What is the level of exposure and risk in the areas where we're doing construction, maintenance? So we had started this project to investigate the performance of contractors, compliance. Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? So that exercise continues. We haven't stopped. It's just that we have to pay special attention to this particular incident and deal with it. But I'd like to assure members of the public, we will go and follow each and every one of the suppliers there, including them and the work where they're doing. We have prioritized them already. But it will be completely wrong, because it will constitute prejudice and stereotype if we just say because it went wrong there, so the rest will follow.
Are you able to put a figure in terms of the contracts that you've given to this particular company that they currently hold with your department?
Well, currently, as far as I'm aware, they've done some work already in one of the facilities, and the contract.
Which facilities?
In Bara. We'd given them work to do in Charlotte Hospital, and that work was done. We didn't find any fault with that work. And currently, they were working on Charlotte Maxeke. We have removed them on site. And we have commissioned an investigation into other sites where they are working, and once the report comes, we'll take action if it warrants that we take action.
Minister, there were also concerns raised about the quality of workmanship being done. This is, of course, by various members of the opposition, and you would also have been aware of the fact that the DA says it's tried repeatedly to raise urgent infrastructure matters at hospitals in Gauteng, Charlotte Maxeke being one of them. What happens going forward? How do you attend to those concerns before we get to a point where it now literally is at a crisis point?
Yes, let's clarify the facts. The first one is that the collapse of the roof at Charlotte Maxeke did not happen because of negligence in maintenance. On the contrary, it happened precisely because we were doing maintenance on site. That is why the roof collapsed. So the narrative that says the roof collapsed because of negligence in maintenance, that is not true. So as the Department of Infrastructure Development, we support maintenance of health facilities, and I can assure you that every day, every hour, we provide services that make sure that our hospitals, our facilities are able to serve the people. But as everybody will know, construction, it's a very complex industry. It's a highly regulated site that requires compliance. And where we detect that there are contractors that do not comply, that give us poor quality of service, that do not maintain high standards in their work, that can't give us quality, people taking chances, cutting corners, we act without fear or favor. Like in this particular case, I think we've demonstrated beyond doubt our commitment to deal with contractors that are dodgy, that do shabby work. But even in that case, we must still remember that we are a constitutional state and we'll have to respect the rights of people. Otherwise, it will be kangaroo court of some sort. But I think we are on record. We're doing maintenance. Our facilities are working. And there shouldn't be anyone doubting that, our facilities are in good condition. There was just a negligence by a contractor here who really did what they were not supposed to do. And unfortunately, that paint a picture in sitting quarters that it's because we're neglecting maintenance. I think this report proves that we didn't neglect maintenance. On the contrary, we were doing it even way before anyone can raise it. And by the way, some of the facts they are relying on about conditions of our facilities, they get these reports from us because we do what is called conditional assessment. We know what is the problem with each facility. And those reports are public. People use them and say, oh, they are not maintained. Remember, we can't maintain all facilities all at once and complete them. So we have got a program of maintenance based on conditional assessment, and we do this, and these are public reports. Some people, when they publish our reports, they don't even acknowledge that the source is DID. So that is the challenge that we're sitting with, but I'm very much pleased that we're doing an excellent work, and members of the public can confirm that.
All right, MEC, that's where we'll leave it for tonight. That's all we have time for. Thanks for coming into studio. That was the MEC for Infrastructure Development, Jacob Mamabolo. More news when we continue. Stay with us.